Cancerian, this is going to be your Love January 2022 Part 1 reading. Hope you guys are doing well. We'll put you on pause if I get interrupted. I'm currently signed on to my 2 tarot channels. Feel free to reach out for a one-on-one reading. Running on Tarot across all social media. Check out the website. Check out the Patreon for Part 2 of this reading. Only $3 a month to subscribe, Cancerian. Feel free to like, share, follow, share with family, friends, peers, people that you might think will enjoy this or want a one-on-one reading. We had a Venus-Pluto conjunction around the 12th or 13th at the time of this recording. So depending on when you view this, Pluto is famous for transformational energy and power, currently in the sign of Capricorn. Venus is love, money, desire, resources, relationships, things of this nature. Typically 2nd house and 7th house, Libra, relationships, taxes, things of that nature. Well, actually 8th house is more so taxes. 7th house is more so relationship dynamics. 2nd house is 7th house being Libra, 2nd house being Taurus, both signs ruled by the planet of love, relationships, money, Venus. 2nd house more so day-to-day income, how you generate income. I want to advise you to look at this love reading. Again, you drew the full card in the reverse here, first and foremost. Hesitance to take a leap of faith, hesitance to jump into something new. This is Aquarius energy. We have Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius as well, so that's affecting us in our 11th house. Jupiter, the planet of expansion and abundance. I was saying that, and Saturn, limits and roadblocks and restrictions and limitations. I was saying that you might want to look at this reading if you're a cross watcher, or even if you're a Cancerian, Sun, Moon, Rising, for Love, January 22, Part 1. There you go, the Lover's card. An unwillingness to jump into this kind of new Lover's energy here, but in any event, you will want to look at love also as well, since you are Cancerian. Cancerian rules the 4th house. This is femininity, emotionality, this is emotional comforts, this is the home sector, this is your bedroom sector, where you kind of recharge and regroup your energy. Cancerian, I'm a Cancerian moon sign myself. Very hard exterior shell with the pincers, but very ooey gooey and yummy on the inside is what the Cancerian is known for. Very protective, very patriotic, okay? I just put up an Easy Rider poster over my bedboard. That is Dennis Hopper, I believe, and Peter Fonda, movie from the 60s, I think, Easy Rider. And there is an American flag on the gas tank and the helmet, so it kind of reminded me. I was trying to decipher where to put Hendrix and where to put the other poster that I have here, since I'm remodeling my newly single apartment. And I remember that Cancerian is, fiercely kind of a defender of their loved ones, family, platonic, peer groups, business associations that they really kind of fuck with. And they also represent kind of, patriotism and nationality, okay? So there's that kind of strength and superpower there. I like to think every zodiac sign has a superpower, but really, truly, what you're being advised to as well, Cancerian, for Love, January 22 so far, is to take a leap of faith into a new kind of, this is twin flame soulmate energy. And let me just a little backdrop and background. There is a narrative out there in the spiritual community that prior to actually being in unison with your twin flame, that you have to go through the karmic twin flame first and foremost. That's going to really reveal to you a lot of yourself. It's going to allow you to see a lot of red flags to look for in your true twin flame, or the true potential twin flame that you pull in after the karmic twin flame. That's just one of the narratives. So feel free to subscribe to that or not, the narrative, meaning feel free to believe in it or not. But the Fool card essentially is saying, hey, don't be hesitant to jump into something. Now, it could be that this Lover's card is representing, who you might quantify or qualify for as a karmic twin flame from the past, and maybe they're coming back around. This would be the nature of this Venus and Capricorn period that we're in until March 22, so maybe a second reckoning. Venus has been in shadow period for a couple weeks now, maybe even almost a month, and she's full-blown retro on the 19th of December until March. So I'm kind of likening the retro, again, feel free to apply at the time of this recording. It's about the 13th or the 14th of December, Monday. I think that was the 13th. Yes, the 13th. The shadow period is kind of like prep work. It's like finals week. It's like the exams, okay? But in preparation for the exams, I should say. And if you're learning the lessons rapidly, then really when Venus is, planning to love, relationships, money, all the big ball of wax that does affect love, the ability to buy material goods, to give to your loved ones, especially during the holiday season, things of this nature, to be generous and kindful and sharing and plentiful and abundant and all that stuff. Shadow period is more so like studying and prep work. And if you're learning the lessons, then you're going to be able to catch the vibe when Venus is full-blown retrograde in Capricorn. It could be that one of the narratives is that Venus in Capricorn is allowing you to focus on your 10th house, which is public image, career, notoriety, infamy, masculine energy, the opposite of 4th house, Cancerian, ironically enough. And so relationships and love could, quite frankly, be put on the back burner and or highlighted more so in the work sphere. Okay, not meaning that you're going to have a romantic relationship at work, but you could have a love for what it is that you do, and you're really having the room to run to that. Okay, so the love doesn't necessarily just have to be for a person. It could be for, that which you do. They say, if you love what you do, you never got to work a day in your life. So, up for interpretation. For that fact and that matter, it could be saying to you, don't be afraid to throw your all into what it is that you do and what it is that you believe in and that you love to do. But as well, I laid out a couple narratives for you, Cancerian, to relate to. So I could see all of this being an interpretation as such, again, in reference to the more so planetary astrological alignments that help kind of inform where we're at as a snapshot in space and time. What else? Spirit for Cancerian. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay, I can read this as an investing into the self, first and foremost, and investing of resources, making sure that you are straight away, secure, set, especially in the home foundational element with the moon card here. Again, more reference to that 4th house that we were referring to earlier. And then in the external realm, this could feel like a lack of forward progress in love, to be honest. And yet you might have a lover, you might have a twin flame, a karmic twin flame, or a tried and true twin flame on the back burner. Or again, if you are in unison with them, don't be afraid to show this vulnerability with the Fool card in the reverse. Okay, that could be another interpretation as well. You're not feeling too comfortable with this twin flame, and so maybe you might want to, self-sabotage and unfortunately promote, not being vulnerable to the extent that you could and should be. I saw King of Cups flash at the bottom while I was saying that. That always refers to emotional maturity and a need for that. 5 of Pentacles in the upright is it's an escape of going into the church of self, not feeling like you need to be out in the cold. Okay. Or going into whatever proverbial church that exists. Okay, it could be moving towards friends or family, things of this nature. Not feeling like you're out in the cold all alone. Granted, you may, if this is not your own church, the church of self is like, the spiritual self, going more so in-depthly to you, more so making your home and your comfort zone and your creature comforts, exalt them so as to reflect the deepening frequency and the deepening tune and channel of who you are, so that you can, give that clear, tried and true signal to the universe, so that your blessings can come in and the life that you want can be made manifest around you, Cancerian. If this is someone else's home or someone else's church, so to speak, you will have to kind of sacrifice aspects of your own personal identity. It could be that Maybe there are family members that you don't feel comfortable around or that you don't necessarily vibe with. It could be like oil and water mix. In any event, to some capacity, in particular the Pentacles refer to finances and resources. The fives are about numbers of conflict, conflicting energy, I should say. So there could be a conflict in resources. Know that you don't have to go at it alone. Know that there are other resources available to you is what this energy is saying. I could offset that with the Knight of Pentacles in the upright. That leaves you with the Four of Pentacles in the upright. So you will be reaching a place of stability here. Because again, I could offset these energies. The reverse is a minus. These are in the plus. So that leaves us with the Four of Pentacles, which is financial stability. Stability of resources by January time. A foothold. To be able to uplift yourself, which inevitably has an effect on a relationship and what you're able to do, going out to eat, enjoying this or that, travel. Okay, so it could be that, a financial situation, or you trying to be an entrepreneur and start from the bottom up is leaving room for doubt and hesitancy to want to jump into a full-blown relationship, Cancerian, because you know that you're not at a place that you want to be in order to have that meaningful relationship. It could be marriage or children that you feel is the purpose for a meaningful relationship. And so if you're not ready for that, then you feel as though, well, then how could I be ready for this, relationship? So very interesting to be able to dive into that Cancerian energy. Like I said, I'm a moon, but we're highlighting things traditionally in the sun sign for Cancerians, but again, feel free to apply it wherever it's at on your chart, or again, if it's not on your chart, you're just cross-watching through the lens of the fourth house. So we're looking by way through the fourth house to see our object of perception that we're intending to look at as a reflection of us, which is love right now. So if you are in a Cancer sign, you can still apply this reading to you. And that's why I always advise to watch all the other signs as well. Okay. By the way, November, December money and love readings, part 1 are all posted on YouTube. You might have to dig through the back catalog to get to it, but they're there. And then the part 2 readings for love and money are on the Patreon. Another reason worth subscribing to the Patreon. The first reason is always is you're voting with your dollar for light and love, to increase light and love in the world, to help raise the vibe of the tribe, and hopefully start a like-minded community that is supportive of each other. Okay, shout out, we already have a Patreon follower there. Hey, humble beginnings, you got to start somewhere. Already have over 700 views on the YouTube. Feel free to follow the Instagram and TikTok, where I put up daily content as well. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? And then we could segue on to the part 2 reading for Cancerian. And then obviously after I'm done with all the love readings, hopefully you'll have watched those. I will roll out the January money readings on the YouTube. Part 1s will go on the YouTube, and then part 2s will go on the Patreon. Death card. Death card is Scorpionic energy in Eastern Sidereal Astrology. Currently, this Scorpionic energy is being illuminated. The sun is in the 8th house, illuminating this then. And or in the very least, because I'm not sure, let me look at my little tarot website. I use iFate. Trying to see technically where the sun would be. So according to this, as a snapshot of when and where, at what time, Sagittarius is over the 3rd house. So with the sun in Sagittarius. I recently came to the understanding that apparently all the signs aren't fixed. Well, not recently came to the understanding, but much to my surprise, I came across this website, iFate, / current positions planets. It's called ifate.com, ifate.com. Anyways, I give you the snapshot of where the zodiac sign is, and apologies if I'm not paying attention to the camera. I'm just looking at my lap. And so, in looking at this, the sun, now is over the 2nd house, under the sign of Sagittarius. So, interesting, within this past year, I believe I came across this site, and it kind of illuminated the fact that on the outer rim, of the astrological natal chart, whatever default chart you might Google and find on the internet, that features houses 1 through 12. On the most outer rim are the zodiacs, and then on the inner are the houses. Didn't know that the houses, wasn't. I had kind of had an inkling that obviously the zodiacs are moving around the houses, but for some reason or another, I guess I was confused to thinking that the houses were actually moving, but apparently I guess they stay fixed. I don't know why. I think the spacing of the houses vary on the site, which is why it threw me off, because when there are more planets in one house, and they'll widen the width of the house. But in any event, in Eastern sidereal astrology, the sun isn't in Sagittarius. Everything is pushed back. So the sun would be in the sign of Scorpio until around the 21st, in which case then it would move to Sagittarius. But in Eastern sidereal astrology, the reason why I go on that tangent, is because this is Scorpio energy, the death card in the upright. So this could be illuminating. And then just to confirm what I was looking at, 8th house in Western astrology, Scorpio is taxes and sex and merging. But actually this is perfect, because this is exactly what I'm talking about. You just saw me bring it full circle here. 8th house, merging, sex, intimacy, shared finances, inheritances, taxes, loans, assets, property, joint ventures, goals, mystery, partners, resources. So, in Eastern, sidereal astrology, sun is in the sign of Scorpio, which rules the 8th house. Now, where I was kind of self-mangled right now was the fact that Scorpio isn't always fixed over the 8th house. That's the point that I'm getting at. It's right now on this Western sidereal snapshot of the natal chart anyway, on the iFate website. It's over the ascendant, or the 1st house. It's cusped between the 12th and the 1st house, essentially. And so that's interesting. But again, it brings the sun being in Scorpio in Eastern sidereal astrology, brings the attributes of the 8th house, which Scorpio rules over. It's its home house there. So it's that's where it feels most comfortable. That's where it stays. Zodiacs are just traveling to each other's houses, essentially. But very interesting. Death could have, in Western astrology, this death card can be referencing to something that may have come to an end before Sagittarius season, or maybe on that kind of brink within the past couple weeks or months here when we left Scorpio season. On the 20th of November in Western astrology. So, in which case you could be, playing out this kind of shadow period in between time, feeling like you're in limbo. But again, that would just be because Venus is in shadow until the 19th. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you, within a week from the time of this recording, started to either come across some sort of, correspondence is the word that I'm looking for, with either someone new or someone, who would fall in this vicinity for you, for this Lover's card here, Cancerian. So, very interesting. Death card is an ending, okay, but for every ending there's a new beginning. Moon card in the background. This is the traditional kind of moon card here. And then this is how the moon card looks in this deck here. So a lot of reference to that emotional kind of maybe getting your bearings, maybe getting your grounding. If you're in this kind of situation where you're newly, living alone, or there's a new homestead for you, maybe you're sharing a home with somebody. This could be an energy of kind of getting your bearings and feeling like a little bit of a limbo in between, especially during the holidays. But again, at the time of this viewing, if it's not in December, then in reference to January, what this reading is intended for, to be honest, there is more of this energy of, really kind of laying things at rest in the hopes for this new day, this new dawning here. Queen of Pentacles was at the bottom of the deck. That's Capricorn energy. That is January energy. I wouldn't be surprised. Venus in Capricorn allowing you a time to highlight your finances, your career, putting relationships on the back burner, although not for long here with that Lover's card here. But really kind of giving you a chance to get into this comfortable, established position with that Queen of Pentacles in the upright coming out at the bottom of the deck when I was just shuffling. Very warm, kind, generous. We were talking about this in a reading yesterday. I think it was one of the other love readings where, for Gemini, where the kind of materialism meets the road of spirituality is the kind of generosity, being able to give of yourself, okay? It may have been the Taurus reading because we were talking about second house as well, but it could have been the Gemini reading. Second house is the ruling house of Taurus. But okay, I'm going to stitch these two videos together. You're probably not seeing it on your end, but I had to pause it while I was looking at that iFate website. I accidentally hit the stop button. So if you're watching this is the end of part 1. We're going to go over to part 2 to see what is this death card here, and what does it have to do for, obviously, resources and love, but this Lover's card, because it's somewhat of a mystery to me. So let's go over to the Patreon link below. Feel free to subscribe, well worth it. It's only $3 a month. Also offering bonus prices on the Patreon for reduced reading prices. It's typically $2 a minute, and I think there are special bonus discounts and deals on the Patreon, so worth shopping over there and checking that out too. All right, guys, see you on the Patreon. Holla for more. Peace.